Yeah, welcome guys once again to my channel. This is Afribution. Remain your favorite host, Chukwuedo. And yes, if this is your first time, seeing my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, you already know. Oh yeah, leave out for them. Okay, so today's episode is actually inspired by one video I saw on Instagram about this African man, with his full blowing traditional attire, who was somewhere in the diaspora. I don't know, somewhere in Europe or America, and then there was this police siren passing by, and immediately he paused, and then he took to his heels. In sum, the man hear police siren, and the man he fatty. For those who are not Nigerians, when I say somebody fatty, it means that the person ran for his life basically, and so that struck me because this is the situation of so many of our uncles in Europe. Hence the title, not just in Europe but in the diaspora generally. That your uncle in the diaspora is not wicked. That your uncle in the diaspora is not wicked. But first things first, I have to put this disclaimer. I know they talk about you, you wicked, you wicked, you be wicked, uncle. So let's just clear that one. You watching me, you know deep down that you're a wicked person. You know deep down that you're a wicked person. So if you think that this video is gonna vindicate you, I'm not talking about you. You're a wicked person, and you will see the result very soon. Okay, guys. So basically, that video, just basically summarizes the whole experience of most of these our uncles when we were little. It's always very, very easy when you're on the one side to just assume that, hey, that my uncle has been in the diaspora for 30 years, for 40 years. The man is very mean, very wicked. He did not support us. He did not, he didn't give us, enough money. Okay, so it's easy to say, as I mentioned. However, 10, 20, 15 years later, you are all grown up, and then now you have the opportunity to actually go to the diaspora yourself. All of us, they here. I'm in Lisbon, Portugal, and we know where to with the sea, with the hearing we, and that actually makes you begin to reflect to the, many years ago when you used to hear those things from your dad. That my brother, or you hear from your mom, my younger brother, I asked him to give me just small 500,000 for me to restock my shop. Imagine, he started giving me excuses that his wife gave birth, that his son is sick. Imagine, and he's in Europe, he's in America, he's earning in dollars. If you're Igbo, you say, and that boy, they go na dollars. Imagine, just small 500,000, and enough he give me. I mean, I'm sure we all know these experiences. Growing up, you have that your one uncle in Europe, in America, who, frankly speaking, must have been helping the family in the best way that he can. Again, I'm not talking about you're a wicked person. You already know. So I'm not talking about you who is naturally wicked, who is self-centered, who is basically mean, and who does not understand the place of altruism, doing things knowing fully well that, look, these people do not necessarily have enough means to do it. A little help here, a little help there. So I've had personal experience, as a matter of fact, without necessarily calling names. As a young boy, I have my uncle as well in the US. And this is somebody who made a lot of sacrifices, coming from, the interiors of Nigeria, not necessarily Lagos, had to study hard, got to Lagos and somehow was able to go study somewhere in Europe, and then after studying there, pushed a little bit further, got a scholarship to go to study in the US, went there for his master's, and basically in Nigeria, I don't know about other African nationalities, but usually it's one person makes that move, and then over time, this person begins to somehow, take up more responsibility for the family. But I think what we fail to see is that this person, as an individual, also has that desire, to start up their own family, in the long run. Because let's look at it, whether we like it or not. We are human beings at the end of the day. We have this wish to say, okay, look, after a while, I want to get married, I want to have my own kids. This is the standard of life that I want to give to my family. And remember, this person has made the sacrifice, to actually, push beyond limits, to get, to somehow make headway. So now, fast forward, while you were kids, everybody was playing together, there was this unity, and then 15 years later, you make that headway. You're able to go to the diaspora to study, and everybody back home is actually depending on you. So the thing is, what I notice is that it's always very nice, growing up, but the moment you get to that point where responsibility comes, everybody begins to behave, a certain way. Everybody is driven by their desire to survive. Let me just put it like that. I'm not going to say it's bad. I think it's natural. I think it's nature. But the thing is, the essence of this video today is to say, look, sometimes we need to pause, reflect, and then think from the other side as well. To say, hey, this guy has been doing this for us, I think the best we can do is to at least, push on our own end so that we can also attain some level of, financial freedom in order for the burden on this person to be a little bit lightened. So the thing is, now you are studying, most of your mates or your family members back home, they are, getting married, having kids, there is this funny thing I actually saw online that every day there is a new couple who is making babies because they know that there's somebody somewhere who is actually going to take care of those babies. Like, I'm telling you, you can go online and check. This is like a very common African thing, not very common amongst the Europeans, because European culture is a little bit different. Everybody caters for their own shit, if I can say that. I've seen a situation where my classmate, as a matter of fact, she's Cavedian, but I'm not going to call her name. She's Cavedian. She actually asked for 10 euros from her mom, and right there and then I was with her. We actually went to her place. The mom told her, hey, when are you going to pay back? For me, I was shocked. She's Cavedian, she's African, but Cavedians are a little bit here and there. Most of them believe that they are Europeans, like they are Portuguese people practically. So this was like a very, very huge shock to me, So, but this is like the typical European culture. But now the thing is, your uncle now has somehow survived, from the very many people survived. He's done his first degree, while people back home, they are, making progress, living their lives, having children, getting married, living their lives basically. But they believe that, look, in the long run, I can do what I want because I know that there is always somebody to fall back to. And for me, this is the mentality that I think we should do away with as Africans. Because I think what it does is that it creates a very long, it creates a very, very long game of dependency. And I think in the long run, it doesn't really help us build any kind of, serious generational wealth. You know why? Because it seems like once one person begins to make that push and, they are getting some financial stability, it seems like every other person relaxes. This is a very, very difficult conversation because I'm sure that so many of us are in this net, like right now, Sometimes they resort to blackmail to say, oh, so you cannot just give me that small money for me to go and rent this bigger house. Or, so you mean you cannot just help me with 5 million for me to get this chieftaincy title? Ridiculous stuff, like ridiculous requests. I'm not talking about those who have like genuine, reason to actually, ask for support. For example, you want to pay school fees and stuff like that, or maybe you lost your job. Yeah, you can always reach out to that your brother, in the diaspora. Hey, bro, can you help me? I have, come up with, 60% of the fees. If you can help me with the remaining 40, these are valid concerns, But I'm talking about those very ridiculous, entitled ones who go about doing their shit because they know that they always have somebody to actually clean it, All of them, when they do that kind of rubbish for diaspora, according to Mama T, on a stopper nonsense. So basically, this is the essence of today's video. I don't want it to be too long, but the point here is this. The most important thing to actually take out is that when you are in Nigeria, when you still have that your sibling around, hey, grow up with love, and eventually when they cross over to the diaspora, sometimes reach out to them to say, hey bro, is there any way I can send you, maybe even if it's just 1 kilogram of gari. For those who are not Nigerians, gari is like, the one of the products you can get from cassava, that I think is like a staple food in West Africa. I don't know if every African country actually eats it, but like reach out to these people, see these people as human beings, and of course, if they do 9 things for you and they don't do one, don't capitalize on the one that they did not do. These people have their own lives. They have their own kids. They have their own. They have their wives. They have their businesses. They have car. They have car. Whatever. Car insurance to pay. Car financing, etc. They have rents to pay. And for those who actually bought houses, they have mortgage to pay. Because now you don't cross come diaspora. Every day you wake up, you go to a job that perhaps you don't like, but you don't have any option. And there you are, you hear say, your brother don't born, no, your sister don't born, no, your brother wants start business, so, and he won't buy motor. Okay, this guy wants to buy a car. Why the hell is he going for a car that is 4 million, 5 million? And then you ask him, okay, this car, how much do you have? And he tells you, I don't have anything now. Shebi, I been the thing say, you go help me run up. Help you run with it. Dalton, do you want to say, yeah, me loju I want rata? So guys, this is ridiculous. I think this is a very, very important conversation that a lot of us are actually avoiding, because I know it's a difficult question. You don't want to seem like, oh, you are the rebel. If they ask you, even though you're not day convenient, you go rush do. But now you don't turn to uncle. You are in the diaspora now, and if somebody asks you for just small 20 euros, all your body go begin to pepper you. Why your body they pepper you? Because remember, so many years ago, you used to be the person who would point fingers at your uncle to say, this my uncle did not, he did not support us. I sent him a message one time. The man read it and told me that he did not have money. How can he say he does not have money? Look at the big car that he's driving. He has been there for almost 40 years. But now you too, you have been there. Or yeah, every request you find in your DM, send money. It's that simple. Send money. If it's easy, you do it. Because you have your project. Perhaps you also came to study in the diaspora. You have been trying so hard to, gather your school fees together. You're paying your rent, you're paying your bills, and of course, you're sending some little money back home, which is actually barely enough. Because now when I think back, I remember this same uncle of mine was responsible for the school fees of, look, I don't know the exact figure, but I know that it was over 20 people. I promise you that. I know that it was over 20 people, this same uncle of mine. This same uncle of mine sent monies to various people. I'm not just talking about like his own immediate, family. I'm talking about like even extended family, like even just, people who they grew up together who are not necessarily family, like friends, send monies to so many people to roof their houses, bought cars for some people, bought machines for some people for them to, practice their trade and stuff like that. Yet, till tomorrow, you're still going to hear those side talks to say, for 40 years that he was there, he didn't do anything for me now. He didn't do anything for me. I have been that person who had always put himself on the other side, even when I was young, even when I had not even come to the diaspora. My mom can actually attest to these facts, because I sit back and I'm like, wait, I heard that this man is doing this for this person, doing this for this person. Man, this man is actually doing a lot. So which means that whatever support, that, I get maybe through my parents or, of course, like through my parents, from him, I was always very, very grateful, because I know, even as a young boy, that, hey, for somebody to be doing all this, it means that his responsibilities are actually huge. It means that so many people are actually feeding off him. Because look, this guy that I'm telling you about, he could comfortably, buy a house in, I don't know, on the island, somewhere on the island, live a very, very, close lifestyle, enjoy his money. But at the end of the day, he actually didn't do any of those, He didn't do any of those, not because he wouldn't like to, but the thing is that, responsibility came first. He had to help people first, like a lot of people are graduates today thanks to him. And I'm sure that we have this kind of people in our families. We must have heard very, very, bad remarks about them. That your uncle is stingy. Oh, imagine that. The time your father wanted to do this, your father asked him for small 3 million. 3 million is small. And you know go work out. Now we're in the diaspora. Now we are the uncles. You are the uncle. Remember, I'm not talking about you. Yeah, I'm not talking about you because you are naturally wicked. You that you are watching, you know yourself. So if the team meet you, may you collect them for body. And most importantly, change. I'm talking about those people who many years ago they used to, talk bad about their uncles, and then guess what? Now they are uncles. Now they are in the diaspora. If you ask them for 1 naira, then go tell you long story. They will tell you long story. Because look, it's not easy. This uncle of mine, I'll tell you, when he got to the US, based on the discussions I had with him, because now, we discuss a little bit more open, because of course he knows that I've gotten to that stage where, I've seen things, and I'm a little bit much more, I'm going to say exposed, so now I can understand things already from both sides. Even if as a young boy, I was already a little bit, I'm going to say different, from the bandwagon of people and their opinions. He told me that when he got to the US, it was so bad that he used to go to the school canteen and collect leftover bread, like leftover bread that he used to collect. Leftover bread, and they could give him like 15 or 20, and then he was going to go to the library. While he's reading and studying, he dips the bread into the water. I'm not kidding you. I'm not telling you some, some Nollywood story. Facts. Only if we knew or if we understood, the extent of sacrifice that some of these our uncles had to do. So that's why it's crazy when you send a message to this your uncle that you want an iPhone. The guy is like, man, like what the hell is this kid talking about? He's paying school fees for like 25 people. And yet you are wanting an iPhone. If he buys you an iPhone, it means that he's denying another child that access to actually go to school. So basically, this is the point. Some of these our uncles that we're talking about, some of them don't even have papers. They don't have documents in the countries that they stay. So basically, they are living in the shadow of the system. Some of them work with people's documents. We already know these things. I don't have to say so much. But they are there, they are grinding every day, taking this risk, and then guess what? They send money to your, to your dad, who's their brother. They send money to your mom, who's their sister. And then yet, your mom is going to tell you kids to say, look at the small money that your uncle sent. Your uncle does not have to start telling you that, hey, look, I'm here illegally. I don't even have documents and stuff like that. Once your uncle hears the siren, he doesn't care whether it's from the ambulance. Now run, also. Run. I'm telling you. Because he knows that nothing is guaranteed. And the day he gets caught, perhaps he's taken to court. If he's lucky, he gets deported. If he's not lucky, he gets arrested. So many like that. You don't hear from them for many years. And you're wondering what's going on. They are saying, that man is wicked. He has forgotten us. No, he didn't forget you. I wish he did because, some people can be very, very unreasonable. So, hey, this is me, Don. I just thought it very, very important to touch on this very, very sensitive topic and to charge us to be a little bit more responsible, as Africans. Not to just throw all our responsibilities on your uncle in the diaspora just because you think the guy for some reason he walks into the central bank to actually get money just because he's in the diaspora. He has his own family. His kids have to go to school, and of course you wouldn't wish your uncle to actually make his kids miserable. He also wants the best for them, just like your dad, who's his brother, your mom, who's his sister, wants the best for you guys. So hey, I'm hoping that you guys were able to learn a thing or two from this particular episode. Now we are the uncles. Let's do better. Let's support as much as we can. But hey, remember, even if you do your best, your brother, your sister, your sibling, your friend will definitely tell their kids that, hey, you didn't do anything. Hey, look, do what you can. As my late friend Collins, may so rest in peace, always says, do what you can and leave what you couldn't can. I cannot explain the grammar behind that, but this is the best way that I can tell you. Do what you can and leave what you couldn't can. Hey, that's me done. This is Afrovision. I remain your favorite host, Chukwuedo. And please don't forget to like and subscribe in order to help grow this channel. So I'll see you on the very next one. Thank you. Peace out.